Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to take a look at Masters of the Universe Origins Leech. Now this is a deluxe figure set, so we've got some extra goodies here. We've got an additional head sculpt, and we've got some additional hands, which I'm really excited about. So if you're familiar with the vintage version, all he had was suction cups for his feet, his hands, and of course that head. See from the side, this is the vintage style head with the suction cup. So this version, we're getting an additional head with just a standard style head and some standard hands. I guess you could call them standard. They got fingers. They're not suction cups, so we're going to just call those standard. Let's see. Evil Master of Power Suction. Pretty cool. Figure really sticks to smooth surfaces. And let's take a look at the artwork here. It says, Leech's energy draining suction brings even Eternia's mightiest to their knees. And we've got Leech battling it out with Tongue Lasher, which is kind of odd. But again, Leech was part of the Horde, so I guess it's not that far off for them two to be fighting. So our cross-sell art, we show our Snout Spout, which was also a deluxe. We got Mantana, Skeletor, Pighead, Roton, and then the little artwork showing how it actually sticks to a surface. Unfortunately, I don't have a surface to try to stick them to. We're just going to assume that gimmick works like it did with the vintage. Don't really care that much about that. I'm more interested in checking out his additional pieces. So yeah, let's get into this. So, unlike all the others, where I typically would start at the top right, since the way it's orientated, the figure's over on the left-hand side, we're going to start over here. Start here, pull the tab, stick our finger in there. There we go. Now, I try to save the card art, but it doesn't always work out well for me. At least the back is preserved, so I'll hold on to that. Get this out of the way. And here we have our Leech. I'll try to keep an eye on the lighting so it doesn't get too weird on us here. I've had a lot of issues with my lighting. We do have some little bands holding his arms in place. I'm going to see if I can snap those. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't. There we go. There we go. Get that out of the way. All right. So, right off the bat, this is such a huge upgrade from the vintage figure. I was never a fan of that vintage figure just because it was so weird, and you couldn't really do a whole lot with it besides that suction feature. So this, having all this additional articulation is really pretty cool. So before we start putting all of his additional parts on, let's first, we got a new comic, Night of the Leech. And let's get a glimpse of it. Let's see, Snout Spout, Buzz Off, Zodak. We got our Hordak. Cool. And then, of course, all of our cross-sell art that we saw on the back of the card. As always with the new line, we've got our little chart showing us the removable pieces, arms, feet, head, and then we can pop him off at the waist. Although, all right, so we got our light fixed a little bit here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and pop off this head. And you know what? Nope. Let's stop. Back up. Raise this up a little bit more. Okay, so before we start swapping out parts, I think it's only fair that we bring in our vintage Leech. Oh, by the way, he did get a crossbow with this. We'll bring in our vintage Leech and get a comparison. This is such a weird figure. Let's bring him over here. Yeah, so you can see, I mean, they stayed true to the original figure. They just really improved things. All that articulation really made a huge difference on this figure. Because this, our OG version, is not the greatest. Now, you did have this feature on his back to help him stick. We do not have that on our Origins version. Yeah, it's a weird figure. I don't like this. I've probably sold more of these than anything else, because I always pick up a lot of figures, and I don't keep those. I used to buy a lot in bulk, and I would find lots of figures, and this would be the first one I would get rid of. But I held on to one just to keep one in my collection. But like I said, I don't care about it. I mean, they did a good job of recreating it with all the good upgrades. All right, so we'll get a side profile view here. You can see it's a little different. We have a lot more detail in our vintage. You can see the sculpting because of that shine. Whereas our Origins, you kind of lose quite a bit with this head sculpt. Probably because it's just a cheaper build and it's put on a ball, so you can't turn the head on the vintage one. But that's okay. We're going to go ahead and pop off this head and take a look at the additional head sculpt and additional hands. Pop that off. Yeah, that's a huge improvement for Leech. Let's try the hands out. Ooh. So this goes here. And this goes here. Yeah, that's a huge upgrade. This is a drastic improvement over our vintage figure. Whether you like the suction cup version or not, you have to admit that this is great. What I think would be really cool is to use this head on a Horde Trooper body. You know how they've got those snake troopers? I think it'd be cool to have that on the Horde Trooper body. If I knew where mine was at, I would try that. All right, so here we go. Let's try this. We got the Horde Trooper. Not the easiest to get your hand in here to pop the head off, but the peg's not long enough. But how fun would that be? Yeah, if that peg was a little bit longer, that would work. But fun idea, though. All right, so we get this back on. So, yeah, he comes with the crossbow, just like the vintage. We'll snap on his hand, which looks a lot better on this version with the hands versus the old school with the suction cups, because it didn't make a whole lot of sense the other way. But that's actually really a cool looking figure. This is how I would display it. That's fun. I almost wish they'd give him some regular feet to use. Maybe some of the big toed feet, like our like Tongue Lasher, actually, because those feet stand pretty well. Because these are still suction cups, so they don't really sit great. But hey, it's good enough. So design-wise, I mean, they used all the same colors pretty much. The Horde emblem is a little brighter on the new version, but they matched up the coloring on the bands and everything else pretty close. And honestly, anything that's not the same, I am totally fine with, because this is a great figure. This is such a huge upgrade over our vintage. I suspect most people would agree with me, but I could be wrong. Maybe you're one of the people who just loves this wacky figure. Huge upgrade. Yeah, sound off in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. As always, I appreciate you guys sticking around. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Hey, if you're up to it, hit the notification bell so you'll be alerted when all my new videos pop up. I appreciate you. Everybody have a great day.